Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to take a few minutes to go over the test with you so that we can move forward in understanding the rest of ServSafe. We talked with a student who said that she had memorized answers when they were asked a certain way, but she didn't really understand why. So we want to make sure that everyone is understanding why the answers are what they are. So let's start with the first one. Question number one, what should food handlers do after prepping food and before using the restroom? A lot of y'all got this incorrect. The correct answer is to take off their aprons. Most of y'all put wash their hands, but let's read this carefully. They were already prepping food and they're going to be washing their hands after they use the restroom. So take off their aprons is the only logical answer. Number two, which piece of jewelry can be worn on a food handler's arm? Again, a lot of y'all got this incorrect. The only correct answer is a plain band ring. A lot of y'all put a medical bracelet, excuse me, but a medical bracelet is not an approved piece of jewelry by ServSafe standards, excuse me. So number three, when should hand sanitizers be used? And again, when you are washing your hands, you are washing your hands of visible dirt and debris. When you use hand sanitizers, you are just limiting the amount of pathogens that are on your hands. So it makes sense to wash your hands first and then use hand sanitizer. So it would only be after washing your hands. All right, so a cook wore single-use gloves while forming raw ground beef into patties. Raw ground beef into patties. They continued to wear them while slicing hamburger buns. What mistake was made? We don't use reusable gloves, so we can take out all of those answers. So the correct answer would be he did not wash his hands and put on new gloves before slicing buns. All right, number five, a food handler has been diagnosed with Shigella. A, you can stop right there. That's a foodborne illness. So if a food handler has a foodborne illness, they can't come to work. As a matter of fact, they have to stay home until the doctor approves them to return to work. A food handler prepares and delivers meals to elderly individuals receiving cancer care services at home. Okay, so we got a couple things right there. So elderly and cancer care services. So you can tell that this person is already in a protected class because they're elderly, and then they're in another protected class because they have immunocompromised system. So what symptoms require this food handler to stay home from work? Something as simple as a sore throat with fever, they got to stay home. When is it acceptable to eat in an operation? I think most of y'all got this correct. When sitting in a break area. What should a hospital cafeteria manager do if a cook calls in with headache, nausea, and diarrhea? Again, working in a hospital, so they got to be careful about their employees. The cook needs to stay away and see a doctor. At what temperatures do foodborne pathogens grow most quickly? So remember, the danger zone is between 40 to 140, 41 to 135. So then we also told you all about the super danger zone, which is between 70 and 125. What are the most common symptoms of a foodborne illness? Diarrhea, vomiting, fever, nausea, abdominal cramps. Those are all the same in all the answers. So we only have to look at these last four. Dizziness, no. Tiredness, no. Jaundice is absolutely a symptom of a foodborne illness, so that would be the correct answer. E. coli is commonly linked to what food? I think most of y'all got this correct. Raw ground beef. Parasites are commonly linked with seafood. I think, again, most of y'all got this correct. A food handler finished trimming raw chicken on a cutting board and needs the board to prep veggies. What must be done to the cutting board? I think most of y'all got this correct also. It must be washed, rinsed, and sanitized. The definition of TCS food. Why do we care about TCS food? Because they have to be time and temperature controlled for safety. TCS. All right, now which one is a TCS food? Bread, dry rice, flour, or sprouts? Absolutely, sprouts. To prevent deliberate contamination of food, a manager should know who is in the facility, monitor the security of the products, keep information related to food safety on file, and who to contact about suspicious activity. And that goes back to our alert tool. What is an important measure for preventing foodborne illness? This is the only thing that we can control, and that's time and temperature. Why are young children more at risk for foodborne illness? And this kind of goes the same for the elderly and the immunocompromised. The very young, their immune systems have not fully developed, whereas the elderly and the immunocompromised, their immune systems aren't working as well as they used to. All right, if y'all learn nothing from this class, I want y'all to walk away knowing what Fat Tom is and what the danger zone is. Fat Tom, food, acidity, time, temperature, oxygen, and moisture. And there's our friend, the alert. It is an acronym for assure, look, employees, reports, and threats. The FDA has identified 2 viruses in particular that are highly contagious and can cause severe illness. They are, now a lot of y'all got this incorrect. It is hepatitis A and norovirus. Look, it even has virus in the name. And keep in mind that you cannot cook out a virus. So this is very important. The only way you can control this or have some sort of defense against this is to purchase from approved, reputable suppliers. All right, on the pH scale, which is the favorable, or what is the favorable range for bacteria? All right, remember we have our pH scale that goes from 0 to 14. We are worried about food with little to no acid. Right there in the middle, that is neutral. So we are concerned about food 4.6 to 7.2, or excuse me, 7.0. Uh-oh. I need to erase this. Okay. Where is the best place to store chemicals in the establishment? I think most of y'all got this correct. Securely away from all food prep areas. What are the most common food allergens? Remember, we have the big 8 food allergens we're concerned with. So milk is one, lettuce is not, so we can move on from there. Shellfish is one, steak is not. Tree nuts, wheat, milk, and fish, those are all allergens, so we're going to choose that one. After which activity must food handlers wash hands? Serving customers, putting on gloves, applying hand antiseptic, or clearing tables. Clearing tables, you are dealing with dirty food that people have been touching and eating off of, and their saliva is all over it. So absolutely clearing tables. A food handler will be wearing single-use gloves to assemble boxed lunches. When must the food handler's hands be washed? A lot of y'all got this incorrect. It is after 4 hours of continuous work, which I know sounds weird, but when you are working in a high-volume restaurant, it's possible that you would be doing the same task for 4 hours. So after 4 hours of continuous work, you do need to stop, wash your hands, and change your gloves. Who is most at risk of contaminating food? And this, again, we're concerned with diarrhea is always a big one. A food handler whose young daughter has diarrhea. That's going to be the one we're worried about most. A food handler who has diarrhea may return to work after being symptom-free for at least 24 hours. Which condition requires the person in charge to exclude a food handler from the prep area? Again, diarrhea. When in doubt, poop it out. Food handlers should wash their hands in between removing the garbage and placing a new liner in the trash can, placing onions in a storage bin and then helping to clear dishes, shaking hands with a customer, and then filling up bread baskets. Absolutely. An exception to handling ready-to-eat food without gloves would include, remember, we don't have to use gloves when handling ready-to-eat food if that food is going to be cooked further. So, for example, adding cheese to a pizza that's going to be cooked to at least 145. All the rest of these would require chopping vegetables for gazpacho that will be held at 41, so there's no further cooking. Making a sub that will be wrapped in paper for the customer to eat, again, no further cooking. Rolling sushi or sashimi, again, no further cooking. So that's the correct answer. When putting on gloves, you should absolutely every time choose gloves that fit properly. Which organization should approve hand antiseptics? A lot of y'all got this incorrect. It is the Food and Drug Administration. Remember, they write the food code. They approve food that is crossing state lines. USDA inspects all meat, poultry, and eggs. I think those are the only things that I come up with. What should the manager of a hospital cafeteria do if a cook calls in with headache, nausea, and diarrhea? Okay, remember, diarrhea is a big no-no. Also working in a hospital. So what should they do? Absolutely stay at home. Which example is correct for food handler fingernail guidelines? Only thing is short and trimmed. What is the most acceptable use of the hand washing sink? The hand washing sink. That's the only thing it's going to be used is washing off your hands. Nothing else. Infected cut should be used with a impermeable bandage. All right, when washing hands, how long should the entire process take? The entire process, not just scrubbing your hands, but the entire process. That's going to be 20 seconds. What is cross-contamination? I think we all know that by now, transferring pathogens from one surface or food to another. Viruses are destroyed by normal cooking procedures. Most of y'all got this incorrect. You cannot destroy viruses by cooking them out. Only by choosing approved, reputable suppliers can you have any sort of control over viruses. All right, Fat Tom, we just already decided food, acidity, time, temperature, oxygen, moisture. So the things we can control are time and temperature. Last one, the danger zone. I don't think anybody got this correct, which horrifies me. It's 41 to 135. It is not 40 to 140. It is 41 to 135. All right, that's it. And you can see that we got 100%. Yay. Say yay, Chef Jen.
Yay.
All right. If y'all have any questions or anything, just email us. Hope you're having a good day.